L A B C D E F G H I J K L M N.
It's Monday, February 28th, 2011. This is Common Sense News, where we sum up the last week of news with a common sense perspective. Today's show is for the week of 21 February 2011. I'm Davis. Welcome.
Common sense, noun, sound practical judgment that is independent of specialized knowledge, training, or the like. Good sense and sound judgment in practical matters, normal native intelligence. Common sense. Published in 1776, Common Sense challenged the authority of the British government and the royal monarchy. The plain language that Paine used spoke to the common people of America, and was the first work to openly ask for independence from Great Britain. Common Sense News.
Mayor Bloomberg of New York City signed in a public smoking ban, but said that it will not be enforced. It makes one wonder what the world would be like if Henry Ford had built a car, then neglected to use it.
What do you think the most important thing is for Barack Obama? Obviously, you're here to talk about the anniversary for U.S.-China diplomatic relations, but if you had to say this is going to be the country or the conflict or the place that will define the Obama administration, what would it be?
The president-elect is coming into office at a moment when there are upheavals in many parts of the world simultaneously. You have India, Pakistan, you have the jihadist movement. So he can't really say that it's one problem that it's the most important one. But he can give a new impetus to American foreign policy, partly because the reception of him is so extraordinary around the world. I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't such a crisis.
PSYOPs on Capitol Line Hill. The Rolling Stone magazine has reported that Lieutenant General William Caldwell gave orders to the Army Psychological Operations Team headed by Colonel Michael Holmes. Colonel Holmes reportedly refused to follow the orders, which directed him to engage in what are commonly known as PSYOPs, information operations, or simply information wars against the congressmen, senators, and other VIPs that visited General Caldwell in Kabul, Afghanistan, over a reported 4-month period in 2010. My job in PSYOPs, Colonel Holmes is quoted as saying, is to play with people's heads, to get them to behave the way we want them to behave. I'm prohibited from doing that to our people. When you ask me to try to do these things, to try to use these skills on congressmen and senators, you're crossing a line. The list of targets Colonel Holmes was ordered to pursue included Senators John McCain, Joe Lieberman, Jack Reed, Al Franken, and Carl Levin. Also, Representative Steve Israel of the House Appropriations Committee, Admiral Mike Mullen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the German Minister of the Interior, the Czech Ambassador to Afghanistan, and many other think tank analysts. Colonel Holmes has received an official reprimand for disobeying orders. Common Sense News would like to officially commend Colonel Holmes for upholding and obeying his oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. PSYOP's practical application in social media. The corporation of H.B. Gary Federal has been contracted to create software which can create numerous fake social profiles in order to engage in psyops against the American people with the express goal of influencing or formulating public opinion and behavior that supports the actions of the U.S. government. This, however, is merely taking psychological operations to the internet. There are nearly daily examples of these operations taking place in more traditional forms of media. We see this in the example of the stories of President Barack Obama, quote, being taken completely off guard, end quote, in reference to the uprisings in Egypt, which gave the illusion of a need and legitimacy for an interventionist policy in Libya, as he now calls for UN and military action to remove Muammar Gaddafi. Such action includes the revocation of visas for top officials from Libya, which begs the question, if they were enemies of the United States, why did they hold current and valid visas? Another action taken by the U.S. has been the freezing of all Libyan assets in the United States. No word on where these assets will be sent, spent, or utilized. Furthermore, in Libya, amidst rumors of nerve gas and continuous false reports of Muammar Gaddafi's departure from Libya, the U.S. military is preparing a strike against Tripoli in Libya. The UN Security Council, is also mulling over the idea of sanctions such as travel bans, asset freezes, and arms embargoes, which indicates that up until now, Libya has been freely trading in arms with whomever they please. It is not surprising that President Obama is fostering support in the UN Security Council, as he once appointed himself to head this council, despite restrictions of the Constitution, namely Section 9, as I quote, "No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without consent of the Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state." The U.S. government has before attempted to overthrow the regime of Muammar Gaddafi. Africa has no other country with larger oil reserves than Libya.